It is Bookmas Day 5 and this video is going to be so difficult. I am a self-proclaimed FOMO over-consumer of book boxes. I have an unhealthy addiction to special editions. I subscribe to 10 separate book boxes and I very rarely skip them. And I just want to say that this is not a brag. This is not a goal. In fact, it's kind of embarrassing. Now, I am really lucky in the sense that I received 2 of those book boxes for free as a rep. One of the boxes is a quarterly box. 4 of them I pay for myself and the other 4 are paid for by my very loving partner. So I am extremely privileged. However, I am trying so hard to be far more conscious about how much money I am spending on books in a year. And so this is going to be part 1 of 8 videos on whether or not I will be going into 2026 continuing these book subscriptions. And I think it's going to break my heart a little bit. So the first book box that we are going to be going through is Illumicrate. I have had 11 out of 12 of this year's book boxes. My December one has not arrived yet. And so this is what we're going to do. I am going to show you January through November. I'm going to talk you through December's. And as I go through each book, I'm going to decide whether this is a book that I actually want to read or have read or whatever. Whether this is a book I would have picked up myself, if it's a book that I'm interested in. If it is, I'm going to have a look at what the resale price is on the internet. Because the ones that I do love in this pile, I very much would have bought from resellers had I not been subscribed to the book box. And we're going to see if all of the ones that I look for online, when I add them up together, whether that outweighs the cost of what I have actually paid for the year of 2025. And I'm really scared at what the result's going to be. So to start off with, Illumicrate, I get the book and goodies box. And it costs me £36.58 per month, including postage. That works out at a staggering £438.96 per year. It is really scary when you look at that. 30 quid a month sounds like nothing. And then you look at that year price, and that's not including all the other books that I buy. And it made me feel a wee bit queasy. So in order for me to continue this subscription in 2026, the books that I love and choose to keep need to be worth more than £438. So without further ado, let's get into the 11 books that I have, and then I will finish off with the December book. January's book for Illumicrate was Watermoon by Samantha Yoto Sambao, and yes, I would have sourced this one from resellers. Not only do I think the design is absolutely gorgeous, but it's also a story that is completely a bit of me. It is actually one of my favourite editions that they've done this year. I remember being so happy when I opened it up. I adore the artwork. And this one was signed, which is something that I know book boxes are going to be doing less of, is hand signatures. However, I do not believe that hand signatures should or do add any value to the book. That's not what I'm paying for. If it has a digital signature, that's absolutely fine. And I would much rather go and get it signed in person on book tours if possible. So if I had bought this one from resellers, it would have cost me approximately £22. February's book for Illumicrate was Capitana by Cassandra James, and I fear I would not purchase this one for myself. Do not get me wrong, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's just not my kind of story. Again, we have such a stunning design. I have no complaints in that department, but I just have no desire to read this one. March's Illumicrate book pick was The Prince Without Sorrow. This is another yes. Again, I am super happy with the design of this book. I think it's absolutely stunning, and the story, again, is definitely a bit of me, and I would look for this one. However, I was very surprised to find out that I can pick this up from resellers for as little as £15. That is an absolute bargain in my opinion. April's book was The Raven Scholar. This is another 100% yes. Just look how gorgeous she is. I am completely obsessed. I think Illumicrate does the printed hardbacks beautifully. And the current going rate from resellers is about £32, which is our most expensive one yet, but I do know that this is quite a popular book. Next up, we have A Song of Legends Lost, and this one would be a yes. She is absolutely stunning. Now, I will say this about Illumicrate, is they are very good at supplying me books that I might not necessarily have heard of previous. This is another reason that I am kind of reluctant to let it go. This one is absolutely stunning though, and I can get it for as little as £15 from a reseller. Next up was another favourite of mine for this year's picks, and that is A Treachery of Swans. She's so beautiful. Like, I just literally have no complaints, and I absolutely love this author. And again, this one is an absolute yes. I would go out and buy this one for myself. And if I was to try and get this one from resellers, I could get it as little as £22. We are currently 6 months in, and so far, 5 out of the 6 books I have chosen to keep. I think that's a really positive thing. And Illumicrate have just updated their skip policy where you can skip up to a maximum of 6 books per year, which I actually think is very generous. We shall keep going and we'll get the results at the end. Next up is July's book, which was The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. And this is an absolute yes. I really enjoyed this book and I love what they did with the design. You had like this anatomical design there and this clear dust jacket. I thought it was absolutely stunning and I was so happy when I found out they were doing this one. This is the most expensive one that's currently reselling so far, coming in at approximately £40. August's book was Voidwalker. Now this was not my favourite in terms of design, but I really like the book pick. I probably would have been happy with just the standard edition for this one, so I am actually going to put this in the no pile, even though the story itself is brilliant. I just don't think I would have chosen this special edition. September's book was The Second Death of Locke, and this one was another absolute yes from me. Even though I have not read this yet, it is one of my most anticipated books. I absolutely love the design of it, and I definitely would have gone out and searched for this book. This is currently reselling for about £25. This is an edit add-in because somehow I completely skipped October's book, but October's book was The Isle in the Silver Sea. This again would have been an absolute yes. It's stunning and it's also sapphic, which I am obsessed with. It's another one that I haven't read yet. This one is currently reselling for about £18 and I haven't included that in the final calculation, but I will readjust everything on the screen because I don't know how I missed it. But yes, absolutely. November's book pick was A Rather Vengeful Accord. Again, I haven't read this one yet, but I really like the sound of the story. And I do really, really love the design. So I probably would have sought this one out. Look how gorgeous that hardback is. That one is coming in at about £22. Obviously, I do not have December's book yet, but I do look at the spoilers and they are extremely accurate. So I'm going to tell you what December's Illumicrate book is going to be, and if you don't want to know that, please do go away, skip this part of the video. But December's pick is The Bookshop Below by Georgia Summers, and I am really interested to see what they do with that book, and I would have bought that one myself. However, Georgia Summers is not a huge author in terms of resale value. I don't think that people would sell it for an extreme amount of money like you do with certain books. So I do reckon that I would be able to find that one. I'm going to bring it in at about £25 as my guess in terms of vintage resellers. After doing the maths, I have kept 10 out of 12. And if I had bought them from resellers rather than directly, I would have spent a total of £221. which is about £217 less than what I spent. Now, I do think it's worth noting that I get the book and goodies box. Therefore, this is not taking into account all of the goodies, which I love and keep almost all of them. So I think my final decision on Illumicrate is that I need to utilize the skips more, because I think 10 out of 12 books is actually quite phenomenal in terms of a mystery book box. I think to want to keep 10 out of the 12 is extremely good. I obviously haven't brought in the value of all of the goodies that they put in their boxes. This is just for the books themselves. So I think maybe next year I will be just using my skips more, being really fussy about what books I get and making a point of looking through spoilers in order to make those decisions. But don't worry, guys, we still have 7 other book boxes to go. I think the next one that I'm going to be talking about will be Fairy Loot's Romantasy book box. I think out of all of the book boxes, that is the one that I am most likely to give up. But we'll come back for another Bookmas day and find out. Thank you all so much for watching. This was actually a really difficult kind of video to make.